The Light Bright Perdigon was one of my original Perdigons that I tried about 5 or 6 years ago, and it's become a staple in my box. But one of the color variations that doesn't get mentioned or used a lot, I think, by most anglers is the pink. And I've had a lot of success on the pink version of this fly over the years, so I figured I'd highlight it in this video. It's especially good during the winter, like right now. Works great during cold temperatures and lower light times of the year, but it's always worth a spin in the summer as well. So get a few of these Perdigons that are maybe a little more attraction type based flies that you can try at any time throughout the year on your local water, and I know that you're going to catch some fish on it if you just are willing to give it a try. It might seem a little wacky at first, but the trout will tell you otherwise.
All right, in the vise here I have a size 20 hook, and this happens to be a 2mm bead, but as you'll see, you can also put a 2.3mm bead on the same size fly, and then you can just go up accordingly as you need to if you go up in fly size. So I've got some pink thread here. This is 16-aught Vivus, and we're going to use 2 tones of pink here, kind of a more subdued, less bright and non-fluorescent pink for the back, and then we're going to use a fluorescent pink for the front. So I've just laid down a as thin as possible layer of thread there, gone all the way to the back, and then I'm trimming off 3 fibers of Coq de Leon. You don't want to go any more than about 4. This is technically probably at least mayfly shaped in an imitation, and so if you think about it, there's not a mayfly out there that has more than 3 tails, so it doesn't make sense to be putting 6 tails on this fly. All that's going to do is slow your sink rate down, and this fly is made for a fast sink rate. So I've got 3 fibers here. I'm just measuring it. I'm going to go about the length of the hook shank, maybe slightly more, and then I transfer it into my left hand, hold the fibers, put the thread in between these fingers here and pinch, and then I go around the hook without any tension and then lift back up before I apply any tension. And that pinch wrap will lock that tail straight in line with the hook shank, as you can see right there. Okay, now I'm just going to tie in a single strand of UV pink crystal flash, and I just kind of pinch wrap it there as well, and then slide it back until it's under the thread, and that way I don't have to trim it. And then I'll just go ahead and make sure that's covered. There again, I'm just laying the thinnest thread base I can without leaving any gaps. And you can build a little bit of a taper, but you still want this to be really thin. And just wrap that crystal flash over the top in touching turns. So don't leave any gaps, but don't build up much bulk either. All right. And then I'm going to switch thread colors, and actually normally I switch thread colors before I wrap the crystal flash, so put that in your notes because that'll actually keep you from having any thread tags that are laid bare here. But luckily these Tiemco scissors, these razor scissors, clip it off pretty darn flush, so I can get in there and not leave any tags. Okay, so this is some Semperfli fluorescent pink thread. And you can see it's quite a bit different color. It's darker than the other pink, and it's definitely brighter, and if you hit it with a UV light you can see it fluorescing, whereas the pink that I used on the back does not fluoresce. And I just put a little bit of a hot spot there, and then I'm going to trim that off flush, and I'll come in here and I will put some black nail polish on for the wing. And just like I'm going to do with the resin, I wipe on the inside of the top of the bottle here to get as much of it off of the brush as possible. And that way you don't lay down a big goop. And so all you have is just a tiny little dab at the top there. And sorry, it goes out of focus when I rotate it, but you get the point. All right, so you could let that dry for a second and then put resin on it, but I have another one ready to go here. And you'll see this one has a copper bead, and that'll give you an idea of what this fly looks like with a copper bead instead of a silver. They both work really well. You can probably try lots of different bead colors, but those two are those two colors are the ones that I use the most. Now I have some Solar Edge bone dry here, and I'm just going to do the same thing. Wipe off all that excess off the brush, and then apply this to the fly. Just use my rotary function to help apply that. And I want even coverage here, and then it's going to have a little bit extra. That one on pretty thin actually, but I'm just going to touch the top of the hook there. To get the excess off, then hit it with my UV light, and that's it. The finished light bright Paragon in a pink color. One of my favorite variations for winter and spring fishing. Works really well right now, and I'm sure it will on your rivers too.
Thanks for watching this tactical fly fisher tutorial. I hope you've found it useful and that you tied the fly and you're going to go and catch some trout with it. That's why we do these. If you enjoyed it, please give us that thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel so that you see when we post new videos, especially if you hit that little bell icon. And come on over to tacticalflyfisher.com. You can find the materials for this fly in our blog section where you can buy them directly, and you can read lots of other blogs and find other materials for the other flies you want to tie or the other places you want to go fish. So thanks for watching, and thanks for your support. We really do appreciate it.